So let's look at the story out of Zenith Bank, one of Nigeria's largest listed commercial banks. Zenith Bank has reported better than expected numbers, reporting gross earnings $500 billion. That's quite massive. 507.99 billion naira was what the bank reported early today. Zenith is the first among all the listed commercial banks in Nigeria to report its financials for the past financial year that ended December the 31st. The lender posts a net interest income of up to 240.17 billion naira, while net profit was reported at 129.65 billion naira, much higher than the 2015 figure by as much as 13.05 billion naira. The lender is proposing a cash dividend payout of 177 kobo for the period under review, with payment date set for March the 23rd. So it's going to be a very interesting trading week for the fixed income space when the central bank looks to sell as much as 310 billion naira on Wednesday, the 1st of March, to kick off the new month. That's quite significant. Let's get a bit of a sense of where this week really is after we've had a bit of a bearish sentiment last week. No thanks to the central bank foreign exchange intervention, massive, north of $500 million. Let's get Afame Funa Ume from UBA Group to talk to us a little bit on this currency trading day, the first trading day in the week. Good afternoon. Thanks for coming through.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Yeah, so what's the sentiment today? Have you guys with the fixed income been able to shake off last week currency fireworks by the central bank?
I can say clearly that it's not been the case. What we've seen also today is for the CBN to come in to conduct OMO auctions again, volume of 60 billion. And that has also impacted on system liquidity. I can also confirm that the CBN as well has come into the market again today to intervene. They offered $100 million for obligations for customers of the banks. And this has also impacted on system liquidity. And going into the auction on Wednesday, we're also looking at this being a great factor as reduced system liquidity will also drive appetite for yields, higher yields. I mean, the money in the system is reduced at the moment.
Give us a sense of where rates are now, on average, across dated treasuries and the bonds. Where is the sell-off continuing this Monday?
Okay, for the treasury bills, for the longer end, it's trending within 18.4, 18.6%. And for the medium end, you would trend in between 16, and for the short end, between 12 and 13%. And for the bonds, around 16, 16.5%.
Very interesting day. Thank you very much for weighing in on this very important day to start the new week, what you call the morning after. Thank you very much. Afame Funa Ume from UBA Group. Nigeria will continue to be in the news for the rest of the week and continue it. But let's move on quickly to Tunisia, where the country is likely to sell stakes in 3 state-owned banks this year and cut up to 10,000 public sector jobs as part of reforms demanded by the International Monetary Fund, which has postponed the payment of the second tranche of a loan. 6 years after its 2011 pro-democracy uprising, Tunisia is struggling to make economic progress. Last June, the IMF released the first tranche of a loan worth $320 million. The country's finance minister, Lamia Zibri, says an IMF delegation had been expected in Tunisia next month to discuss reforms and the third tranche of the loan. But the team will not come if they did not see reform progress. Zibri said the government was ready to launch a new push on the reform package in the public sector, the banking sector, and the state companies, as well as taxes. Let's look at the story about farming in Africa, with El Nino and weather conditions being a major factor, and the world organizations are beginning to complain and give a warning signal of what could be a major problem in Africa.
Aid agencies must get food to close to 3 million people by July to avert a famine in Africa's Lake Chad region, caused by drought, chronic poverty, and Islamist insurgents Boko Haram.
Being here also today.
That's according to the United Nations, as it launches a funding appeal. The United Nations, which says it needs $1.5 billion in humanitarian aid for the region this year, had previously raised $19 million towards this target.
It is really about a long-term commitment. It's about humanitarian assistance, about development. It's also about security. It's also about political solutions.
Today, Nigeria and countries contiguous to the Lake Chad are experiencing one of the largest and gravest humanitarian crises in the world. In Nigeria alone, 26 million people have been affected by the Boko Haram insurgency. The 2017 Humanitarian Response Plan has identified 10.7 million people in need of life-saving assistance.
Boko Haram militants have killed around 15,000 people and forced more than 2 million from their homes during the 7-year insurgency. The most urgent need is to reach 2.8 million people with rice or sorghum or cash to buy supplies by July.
We do need to transmit the message to world leaders, with all of you, that not only has this crisis killed and displaced, but it has destroyed entire social fabrics of communities.
Overall, 10.7 million people, roughly 2 out of 3 inhabitants, need humanitarian help, such as food, water, education or protection. The United States, a major aid donor to the region, in previous years did not pledge any money yet. O'Brien said this was because the U.S. administration was still in transition following November's election.
When we return after the break, we have further insights and perspectives into Nigeria's new currency regime. Policy announcement is just 8 days ago.